Hello, welcome back. As most of you know, I've been researching the rollout of 5G and its potential health effects on the body, which are unknown. So I've been researching this and following the politics around the world, and at the same time watching the advertisements that are now prominent in New Zealand for the rollout of 5G, particularly associated with the America's Cup, but also some prominent trusted New Zealanders are now doing advertisements for Spark. One in particular, Judy Bailey, probably had the highest confidence vote of all broadcasters in New Zealand, and she's involved in an advert where she looks at her fridge, and there's a fridge seems to be doubling for some surveillance device, and they found out that somebody's at the door who has been a bit of a shock jock in the past, and therefore it's all very beautifully done, very funny. I have no doubt that neither Judy or this other person, Paul Henry, has a concept of what they're involved in. But it's just another way of seducing the public into accepting this without question. I've also been looking at what the mainstream is reporting, and it's precious little. It's very interesting watching a BBC production this morning called 5G Whiz, part of a BBC programme. Which is again an amazingly well produced documentary that doesn't mention the health effects of 5G. It does actually go into detail about Hawaii and their involvement and the potential for catastrophe, but their catastrophe is cyber warfare, and they're able to switching off this 5G, which everybody has become dependent on. And it dawned on me when I saw this is that we're already addicted to this to a point. Now, many of us can step into this wonderful media and step out of it, but there are a whole generation who have become addicted to this. They actually talk about the happiness that people derive from being able to walk out of their house and say, switch off the lights, switch off the TV, as if this has anything to do with our happiness. This is how addicted people have become. I've also noticed in these adverts, obviously there are men and women presenting, particularly the tech men presenting, but now it's been taken over by younger women. And there's certainly no question, they're not questioning their fertility or the fertility of their future generations. Nor do I ever see a child in these adverts. And I think that's probably wise for those people who are promoting this, because they don't want to have this massive comeback from generations in the future. Just one example of a mainstream report on 5G, and this is from the New York Times a few days ago, well, in fact May the 12th today. Your 5G phone won't hurt you, but Russia wants you to think otherwise. So, of course, mentioning that this is a Russian conspiracy seems to be a mindset of the media to a certain extent. We all know where that came from, and this is because RT had a short series on their concerns about this. But it's interesting what they said, your 5G won't hurt you. So they're transfixed with this idea that as long as the 5G doesn't burn your skin, which is the only safety levels that have been checked, then that's all right. In fact, if it did cause discomfort, then you'd get out of the way of it and complain. So looking further down this article, they make this statement, if I can find it, about what science or scientists are saying about this, which is very interesting. So what they say is, here we go. Opponents of 5G claim the technology's high frequencies will make the new phones and cell towers extraordinarily harmful. Well, that's interesting. I'm not making that claim. I'm just saying that we just don't know that they're safe. There's a very different. There's an emphasis here that anybody complaining about this is open to hyperbole. The higher the frequency, they say, the more dangerous it is to living organisms, RT reporter told viewers recently. The truth is exactly the opposite. This is New York Times saying this. Scientists say. So I click on the scientists say, and it is actually a report which is unauthored with no references at all, talking initially about just the heating effect. So it starts off by saying, okay, what's its opening statement? If I can go down here, after all its definitions, the most pronounced biological effect of RF, radio frequency, and microwave radiation is heating or thermal changes in the body. They go on to say that as it only supposedly penetrates a small amount just through the skin, therefore all the other organs are safe, completely ignoring the microbiome on the skin, the fact that our skin is connected with the rest of the body. It's this sort of kindergarten approach to science. And further down they do mention, these unnamed scientists, the non-thermal effects. Okay, some animal studies have shown central nervous system effects, which is a bit strange if it's just the skin. Altered cell membrane permeability, which actually is about calcium going in and out of the cells and your body and your cells retaining more calcium. Behavioural effects and others. These biological effects are attributed to mechanisms other than thermal and are generally thought to be caused by exposures less than 10 milliwatts per square centimetre. However, they are not well understood or documented. Well, there are 2,000 papers that have documented this. Do we understand them? No. The whole point of this is do not roll out 5G until we understand these mechanisms. That's the whole point. So the finger is being pointed at those who are being concerned about this as being some sort of radical conspiracy theorists, where in fact they're the most conservative people who actually do the due diligence and check their sources. That's enough at the moment. That's where I'm at with this, and it's all about letting the public know what's sensible for them, for their children and their grandchildren, for the trees and the insects. And the document that this journalist references, clearly, I'm not sure he or she read it. I don't know who it was. I'll tell you who the guy is. William J. Broad. He sounds doesn't sound particularly broad-minded, does he? Sounds like a guy. Anyway, that's where I'm at with this. Thank you for being with me. If you're concerned, do your own thing about this. All we're saying is this stuff hasn't been tested, and all we're saying is it shouldn't be rolled out and endanger the public until we know that it's safe. Sounds to me like common sense. Bye.